Hello, writers. This is following week one. This is Sunday. We had our first writing workshop together on May 8th. And I just wanted to, first of all, wish the mothers happy Mother's Day. And I was just thinking through some of the things that you might be experiencing following the workshop. And so I was having this conversation in my mind with somebody who might say to me, I feel stuck when I look at my poem or I look at my vignette because I feel it's not really that good and I'm not sure how to get it better. I may not be able to name the particular challenge that they're having, but let me express to you some encouragement, and that is you just try to overwhelm the page with that content from whatever you saw when you were doing your cluster map and you stopped and you figured, I feel something here, I sense something here. Because it's almost like this. You ever wake up from a dream and you try to capture all the details of the dream? You wished you could turn it into a miniature story, a miniature poem, maybe a song, maybe just an explanation to your husband or wife of what you experienced in this dream. But then you realize, I don't know how to express all this in the same way. I wish I could plug my brain into their brain and they could see what I saw and feel what I felt and hear what I heard. And I think it's a similar analogy to what happens to us in writing, is we feel we're not quite at the skill level yet to be able to bring this about. This is a good problem to have because it means that your taste, your standard for what you read and what you write has elevated. And you're always going to be behind that. And this is going to give you a reason to write. So what do you do? That's the question, right? We all want to know. You can recluster. You can keep writing. And here's the thing that might really help you. You have to let go of this idea that your poem has to sound like this or be like that or follow this perfectly. We're not Robert Frost, right? We're not Ernest Hemingway yet, right? Those guys go through multiple drafts. Ernest Hemingway wrote the end of A Farewell to Arms, or it was maybe The Sun Also Rises. He wrote the ending for almost 40 times. 40 times to get it right because his standard had elevated. So you're always going to feel this frustration. It's a good problem to have, but just remember what to do in that situation is not to sit there in the paralysis of the analysis, but it's to go back, just like I did. I had to let go of the poem I thought I needed this poem to be, and that was the producer trying to interfere with the composing process. You still have to compose a lot. And so once I let go of that and I kept pressing on in the cluster map, in that effortless process, even if it gave me results that were cliched, ordinary, boring, that's okay. Once I pushed past that, then this water began to flow. And you just have to just trust it and keep traveling with it. And you will find, and this is what I found when I pressed through, a much better poem than I would have ever thought of if I was thinking consciously, my poem should say this and then it should have 4 stanzas. No. This is writing the natural way. You kind of have to go with it and see what it wants to be. And the other objection some might have, or the question rather, is, but can we just write aimlessly? No. There are going to be times where we will be able to focus on a phrase that we want to focus on. If you want to write a poem about blue jays on an electric wire in Toronto on a spring day, you can. You cluster around that. But that poem is going to kind of want to be what it wants to be from all the experiences that are pouring through your memories, your unconscious mind, and what you see, so that it's going to be a much better poem than you would have written had you figured, if I'm going to write about blue jays, I need to research the blue jays, what they eat, and then, okay, the poem will begin with them. Birds eat. No, no. That is important skill, an important skill to have after we write, and we can look at what we wrote and begin to mold it and shape it and see what's there. And those patterns, when you cluster, are going to come out. They're going to show themselves, and you're going to look back at it or look upon it, and you'll just be struck by an unmistakable urge to write something. And then it's useful later on when you're reconstructing or revising your poem. Yeah, you can borrow lines. You can look up poems online about birds, and you can kind of borrow some things there, but you always want to start with your material that came from your free-flowing mind. And you can go back into that free-flowing mind when you feel like, oh, I'm in revision right now. Can I really be creative? Yes. You can go right back into your creativity and then come back out of it and go back into it. All right? So just stay encouraged, and we'll see you next time.